Hi, it's Billy Dunlap with GoLaurens.com and GoClinton.com, coming to you from the Ridge at Laurens, where on this coming Friday at noon, David Wyatt will be the featured speaker for the Laurens County Touchdown Club. Wyatt is an NFL agent. He's also chairman of the South Carolina Football Hall of Fame. Now, I tried to shoot this show earlier sitting down here in this room, but I realized I can't do this show without standing up and using my hands. Those of you who have watched the show before will completely understand that. Now, let's talk about Week 9, Laurens County Football Show. We got some great games this week. We're going to start with Laurens and Malden. Laurens will host the Mavericks on Friday at 7:30. It will be homecoming for the Raiders. Laurens comes in 4-4 overall, 3-0 in region play. They beat Riverside last week 35-9. DQ Floyd had another huge night, 280 yards and 4 touchdowns. Over the last 2 games, Floyd has 614 yards and a whopping 9 touchdowns. Now, Greenwood and Laurens sit at the top of the region standings at 3-0. Malden in second place at 2-1. Big games this week and next week to determine playoff scenarios. It looks like the Raiders are already in the playoffs, locked up third place. So the next 2 weeks will determine, 1, if they get a home game in the first round of the playoffs, and 2, will determine who they play. They're cross-bracketed in the playoffs with the same region that has Westside, Hannah, Woodmont, Easley. So you finish 3rd or 4th, you're going to Westside or Hannah the first week of the playoffs. You finish 1st or 2nd, you're going to host either Easley or Woodmont. So a lot on the line the next 2 weeks for the Raiders, playing Malden this week, Greenwood next week. Greenwood plays Riverside this week. You got to think they're going to get a win. That's going to push them to 4-0 in the region. Malden plays Hillcrest next week, so a tough matchup for the Mavericks. Now, let's talk about Malden a little bit. 6-2, 2-1 in the region. They defeated Wade Hampton last week, 56-7. Their losses are to Greenwood, 17-4, and T.O. Hannah, 56-27. Their wins over Hillcrest, J.L. Mann, Woodmont, Blue Ridge, Riverside, and Wade Hampton. Not exactly the top football programs in South Carolina, but saw Malden earlier in the year. They scrimmaged Laurens in the preseason. Very athletic, a very good football team. Now, against Wade Hampton last week, Malden racked up 610 yards of offense, leading the way quarterback Dre Harris. He's a dual-threat quarterback, very athletic. He was 15 for 21 last week, 279 yards and 2 touchdowns. Running back Avarius Blakely, also a difference maker, 174 yards last week and 2 touchdowns. So, big matchup Friday night for the Raiders, hosting the Malden Mavericks, 7:30 for homecoming. Now, let's move to the Clinton Red Devils. Hosting Broome this week, 7:30 on Friday night at Wilder Stadium. Clinton lost to Newberry last week, 31-20. They led 14-10 at halftime, but then they were outscored 21-6 in the second half. Same struggle that the Red Devils have had in previous games during the season. Strong in the first half, struggled finishing at the end of the game. They traded touchdowns for field goals in the second half against Newberry. Newberry scored 3 touchdowns. The Red Devils managed only 2 field goals. Now, Clinton is now 3-5 overall, 1-2 in region play. Broome, Chapman, Woodruff, and Newberry sit atop of the region rankings with 2 wins and 1 loss. Clinton is at 1-2. Mid-Carolina pretty much out of the picture at 0-3. Now, big games this week. Chapman plays at Newberry. Of course, Broome plays at Clinton. Mid-Carolina plays at Woodruff. So a lot riding on this week and next week. See if the Red Devils can get into the playoffs, and if they can, where they stack up with the rest of their region. Now, Friday night will be Veterans Night, a special night. The Red Devils will wear special uniforms to commemorate Veterans Night, to honor the local veterans in the community. Should be a great night. Also, the Woodruff game has been moved a week later. South Carolina High School League has moved the regular season back 2 weeks. So the Wolverines and the Red Devils decided to not play the last Friday in October. They're going to move that game to November 4th. That will be senior night. So Friday night, 7:30 at Wilder Stadium. Now, let's talk about Broome a little bit. Broome lost to Woodruff last week, 31-27. They're 6-2 overall, 2-1 in region play. Last week, they suffered their first loss in 6 weeks. They lost to Chesney in week 0, 47-42. They fell out of the 3A poll this week. Still a strong team. They've been one of the top 3A teams all season. So that has not changed. They just suffered a loss last week. Now, leading the way, quarterback Jake Mathis. And then on the defensive side of the ball, Zeke Stringer had 4 sacks last week against Woodruff. So Broome's going to come strong. Coach Jet Turner does a great job with them. He's built a solid program at Broome. So Broome traveling to Clinton for Veterans Night on Friday night, 7:30 at Wilder Stadium. Now the Lawrence Academy Crusaders going to W.W. King on Friday night at 7:30. The Crusaders lost to Richard Wynn last week, 51-6. They moved to 2-6 on the season. W.W. King comes in at 7-0. They defeated Newberry Academy 44-30 last week. A tough task ahead for Coach Todd Kirk and the Crusaders, but hopefully the Crusaders will have a strong game against W.W. King on Friday night at 7:30. Now, Presbyterian College, back in action. They're going to Charleston Southern on Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff. PC now 2-4 on the season, 1-1 in Big South play. They defeated Monmouth last week, 17-13 at Bailey Memorial Stadium. Charleston Southern comes in 3-2 overall, 1-0 in region play. They've had a strange last couple of weeks. Their game last week against Albany State was canceled because of Hurricane Matthew. So they have not played a game since defeating Coastal Carolina on October the 1st, 59-58 in overtime. Charleston Southern, one of the top teams in FCS play, will be a tall order for the Blue Hose on Saturday at 6 o'clock. So that does it for the Lawrence County Football Show for Week 9. We got great games this week. We wish all the teams the best of luck, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the game.